Hello everyone and welcome back to Recap, a fireside show where we recap all the latest competitive TF2 news. A new European champion is crowned. Uberfest 2024, a European LAN at the base stack location in Dortmund, Germany, finished its festivities after an enthralling 3-day weekend of back and forth action. While top European representative Mandem was not in attendance, the matches were as competitive as they could get. Expectations leading up to the event favored a new Panzer vs Skeda grand final matchup, as prior to the event, they were the two leading teams in the TF2 Season 48 standings. And while those two ended up facing off in the grand finals, another premiership team, Pepe's Pizza Party, gave Skeda a run for their money by defeating them in the upper bracket semifinals in a match that went down to the wire on the final map. Pepe's proceeded to defeat New Panzer on Bagel to start the upper bracket final, but ultimately New Panzer regained their footing and won out to advance to the grand finals. Unfortunately, Pepe's Pizza Party were not able to replicate their miracle against Skeda in the lower bracket final, losing in a heartbreaking fashion. The best of 5 grand final between Skeda and New Panzer was reminiscent of that of Arcadia LAN 2022. Both series maps went down to the wire. Of the 4 maps played in this grand final, 2 were decided in golden caps, while a third, Granary, was decided by a golden mid. For those not familiar with the rule set, if the 10-minute golden cap expires, a golden mid scenario occurs, in which the map winner is decided by who wins the mid fight. Voxtech of New Panzer was a cut above the rest, being the only player to break the 100 frag mark. Alongside his scout partner Gazi, they combined for nearly 200 kills across all 4 maps. With this win, New Panzer took home 1,250 euros, the lion's share of the 2,500 euro prize pool. Skeda took 750 euros in second, and the remaining 500 euros went to Pepe's Pizza Party in third. Uberfest 2025 announced. Right after the finale of Uberfest 2024, DCS, tournament organizer of the LAN, announced the dates of the next Uberfest LAN, marking its return on the 12th to 14th of September 2025. This news brings a sense of renewed optimism for the LAN scene in Europe, as a healthy working relationship has been built with the base stack location in both Poland and Germany. This is crucial considering the demise of the storied Insomnia Land events, in light of Player One Events' layoffs. Froyotech dominates RGL. Froyotech, despite the loss of Yite, has not lost their stride, as they cruise to yet another RGL win over the Sandblast-led The Wall team in the grand finals. Froyotech cruised in their opening match versus Black Swan, but met fierce resistance from the Chuds in the upper bracket final, who had been on a meteoric rise off the back of a strong showing in the Horse Run Monthly. The series versus the Chuds would make Froyotech work to earn their keep, as they would have to mount a comeback down 2-4 on the opening map process. And despite gaining the lead on Metalworks against Froyotech, the Chuds were brittled down by the slow-paced nature of Metalworks and the meticulous pressure of Froyotech. While a strong showing from the Chuds left viewers anticipating a rematch in the grand finals versus Froyotech, the Chuds fell to Sandblast the Wall team in a grueling 3-map series where the Chuds had no answer to Sandblast off-class shenanigans on Sniper. Sandblast scout partner, Soar, had an outstanding performance as well. Advancing to the grand finals is a historic achievement for Soar, who makes their first Invite grand finals in their first ever season. Despite that, the Wall was no match for Froyotech, who only gave up 1 round in just over 40 minutes of play across 2 maps to re-crown themselves RGL champions after losing to Leica G6 in the previous season. RGL LAN 2025 announced. RGL, home to North American Highlander and Sixes, has announced their 2025 LAN that will feature the Sixes Season 18 Invite playoffs at the local host venue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is their 3rd LAN for an RGL Sixes Invite season, with the first being RGL Season 7 Invite playoffs at the Helix Esports location in Foxborough, Massachusetts. and the second being RGL S16 LAN, also at local host Philadelphia. Local host Philadelphia has become a mainstay in the TF2 community, with this being its 4th time as the venue for a TF2 LAN. The previous 3 being the aforementioned RGL S16 Invite playoffs and Resup Philly LAN 2022 and 2023. All 3 which featured a historic rivalry between Leica G6 and Froyotech. The playoffs will occur on the weekend of July 19th and 20 in 2025, and presumably will be a double elimination bracket culminating in a best of 5 grand finals with a map advantage to the upper bracket winner. More details such as team registration costs, spectator passes, LAN merchandise, and more will be announced in subsequent updates from RGL. 4v4 Pastime returns to RGL. "4v4 Pastime" is a modified version of the Pastime game mode developed by Bad Robot in collaboration with Valve. From rule sets to the maps, this unique version of Pastime has gained traction in recent cups organized by members of the 4v4 Pastime community. Medic, Demoman, and Soldier are the only classes allowed in this game mode, with maps featuring ramps, slides, and layouts that make use of TF2's rocket jumping, caber jumping, Demo Knight charging, and other quirky movement mechanics to provide an electrifying experience of TF2's interpretation of soccer. The Cup, which is open to all skill levels, will feature a group stage and playoffs, taking place between January 3rd to the 31st of 2025. This is also the 3rd time RGL has hosted a 4v4 Pastime Cup, with the previous 2 cups being dominated by the Tomato Tom-led Goblin Jacks. The Goblin Jacks have been known to stack themselves with Pastime Grandmasters, a title awarded to the best 4v4 Pastime players the community has to offer. They will be looking to three-peat and maintain their dominance in the scene. Forfence make European competitive TF2 history. Despite a slow start to the season, the all-French roster turned their fortunes around, winning their final 3 matches of the season to qualify for playoffs over Garda Pantieri, who, while having a better win-loss record at 8-6, only had 22 points due to the 3 of their 8 wins being in Golden Cap. This cost Garda Pantieri 3 points, which would have otherwise tied Forfence's 25. In order to survive in playoffs, Forfence would have to continue their winning ways from their late season resurgence, as they would start in the lower bracket versus Skeda. Despite losing the first map process, they would show their proficiency on Granary and Snakewater, and knock Skeda out in a one-sided affair. They would then go up against the grand finalist favorites, Noob Panzer, in the lower bracket final. Once again, they would start from behind as they would lose yet another opening map 3-2, this time on Snakewater. But Forfence would barely pull off Gullywash and Granary en route to a grand final berth, with each map going down to the wire and being won in its final moments, with neither team willing to give up an inch. Their grand final match would be against Mandem, a team that they had contested in the regular season, but were also a team that were looking to win ETF2L Premiership back-to-back. This time around though, Forfence would win the opening map of the best of 3. Process off the back of a stellar play from scout duo Nevo and QB, and Demoman extraordinaire Deli. Process saw them up 2-0, which they managed to maintain for the entirety of the game, only dropping a round when the game was all but winnable for the Mandem side. But Mandem answered back immediately, putting themselves up with a 2-0 lead on the next map, Granary. Due to winning the majority of the midfights, Mandem managed to burn time off the clock and force the decider map, Metalworks. And both teams traded rounds to start the map, off the back of mistakes from both sides. But with just about 4 minutes left in the game, the Frenchies would stage an Uber exchange onto Mandem's last, resulting in an Uber that, in the end, gave them the numbers advantage. Nevo would go on to cap the last point in front of the remaining Mandem defenders, securing a 2-1 lead with 3 minutes left in the game. But a wipe on mid allowed Mandem to storm 4 fences last, and with well-placed crit stickies from Fancy, Mandem were able to force a golden cap. In the golden cap, a huge sack onto second by the Soldier Brugeman dropped the Mandem medic Oppie, forcing Mandem onto crits for a last hold with Uber Desad. But even though Forfence would botch the ensuing last push, the seesawing of crits and Uber advantages allowed Forfence to eventually win the golden cap, crowning them the champion of ETF2L Season 48.
Je joue le point, t'es prêt? 3, 2, 1. On le lazy à gauche, je vais sur le hélicoptère, le point. Le cap time, cap time. Un seul mort. Zéro est mort. Capé. Ouais! Let's fucking go! Oh putain! Oh putain! Oh putain! Oh c'est... Oh!
Ça
They also make history as the first time an all-French team has ever won ETF2L Premiership, superseding ancestor French squads like Punchline, Top 5 Rocket, Insomniac, eShock, and the Frenchies. This also marks the first championship for the majority of the players, who have played a multitude of ETF2L seasons. One of them is Nevo, who has played since Season 16. We spoke to QB about Forfence's season and what the championship meant to him and the team.
Yeah, we had a lot of struggle because we started the season with the hardest officials against the highest teams. So that's why when we looked at the Forfence position in the week 3 or 4, we were down to the 5th or 6th place. I don't really remember. But then we started to play against the easier teams, and we started to get 6-0 and 6-0 and 6-0. So we finally managed to get into playoffs, even though we had a few problems of organization with one team. So we could have not get playoffs if we didn't manage to fix those problems. So yeah, we were very happy to get playoffs because it was very unsure. We really thought that we wouldn't get playoffs. To be honest, it was just an unlucky official orders for us. And also, the scrims to prepare the playoffs got us very confident because we were winning against all the teams that were in playoffs. And when we finally won, it felt very insane. Like it will surely be one of my greatest TF2 memory. It felt like we finally made it, and we worked a lot to get there, even though it wasn't paying at the beginning of the season.
A new face takes Asia Fortress's vacant throne. The Asia Fortress Fall 2024 playoffs went underway starting in late September and finished in mid-November, albeit missing a face that had dominated the Asia Fortress scene, Zhao. The core of TJ, Rue, Haria, and Banana had won the 3 previous Asia Fortress splits, cementing a tale of dominance over the span of a year. Their absence left the champion spot up for grabs. Soon enough, a new champion would be forged in a grand final between the Haria-led team Kunkwai Kinkwai and Toganashi Togari, the latter featuring Zhao member Naver. The grand final matchup saw the absence of the top fall qualifier team, Hong Prump. They were one of the favorites to make it after a strong qualifier showing where they finished 11-1. While they defeated Toganashi Togari early on, their loss in the upper bracket final to Kunkwai Kinkwai allowed Toganashi Togari to exact their revenge in the lower bracket final. Toganashi Togari did start off slow in the best of 5 grand finals, losing clear-cut 4-0, but they slowly showed signs of life as they staged a reverse sweep comeback down 3-0 on process, ultimately losing in continuous overtime after mustering 2 rounds. Despite being down 2-0 in maps, Toganashi Togari were able to take Sunshine after starting the map down 2-0, coming back to win 3-2. Yet, the underdogs ran out of steam on the final map, Bagel, as Kunkwai swept them on Koff yet again to take the grand finals. Haria started and finished the grand finals as the best player on the server with a total of 130 frags on Scout. Fireside Denver. Fireside announced the Physgun Fireside Denver 2025 LAN at local host Denver location in Lakewood, Colorado. The event, featuring top competition from Australia and Europe, will be the first intercontinental LAN since Insomnia 69 in 2022, and the first to feature Australia since Rewind LAN in 2017. Witness Gaming Australia, formerly known as Soiree, comes to represent Oceania. They are the reigning Australian LAN champions after defending their title at LAN Down Under 2024. From Europe hails Witness Gaming EU, the Poland 2024 winner. While this is the Aussies' first rodeo at an inter-regional LAN, the core of Witness EU played together at Insomnia 69, where they lost versus the Banny-led Froyotech in the grand final. Despite a plethora of LAN experience from previous Insomnia events, this marks their first LAN on North American soil. Physgun Fireside Denver is Fireside's first ever LAN and features a base prize pool of $2,500 alongside sponsorships from server host Physgun and TF2 online marketplace manco.store. Information on team registration, spectator passes, accommodation, and more can be found in the links in the description below. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Recap. I really hope you've enjoyed it. As always, follow us here and on Twitch and our Discord to stay updated with all the TF2 news, discussion, and coverage you'll need. Until next time, see ya!